Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about spoilers for the new movie Eternals, which came out this past weekend. And yeah, I just want to get into the spoiler talk. So this is kind of a review, I guess. Just talking about my favorite spoilery moments. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with these characters. There are so many characters, and I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed them all. I thought they were all great characters. I love Thena, played by Angelina Jolie, Ajak, played by Selma Hayek, Richard Madden played Icarus, Gemma Chan played Cersei, Sprite was really great, Kingo, Fastos was really great. Makari was really great. Druig, Gelgamesh. I'm just reading them all off IMDb by now. Yeah, I loved all the Eternals. I thought they were all great. I thought they all meshed well together. Some people feel like the characters don't mesh well. I disagree with that. I think they all meshed well, and I like seeing their family dynamic. You know, they argue a little bit, but they also get along really well when they have to. First of all, the deaths. There are a couple of deaths in this movie by the Eternals. The first big one was Ajak, who played by Selma Hayek, and I was shocked when they killed her off so early, but they never show how she died, and I didn't think much of it at first because they say, the deviants must have gotten to her, but we still see her enough in the flashbacks, with which I think help show her character a lot more, and eventually they do show us how she died, which I'll get to a little later. But yeah, I thought that death was shocking because Chloe Zhao, I believe, was the one that said, yeah, she's the leader of the Eternals, so I'm expecting her to make it through the end, and she doesn't, which was interesting. I Then the second death was Gilgamesh, who dies maybe around the middle of the movie or somewhere, maybe towards the second act of the film, and I was surprised about that because I loved that character, man. I thought he was great. I loved his relationship with Thena, and I thought they would have both survived till the end, and Gilgamesh does not, unfortunately. And I was kind of sad because he was such a cool, fun character to have around, and badass too. So when that death came up, I was like, man, this who else is gonna go in this movie? And one more interesting character dies, but I'll save that for a little right after this one. I loved Kingo and his driver, and the guy who's like recording everything. I think both of those characters were hilarious. They delivered the most jokes, obviously, especially the 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 limo driver who was recording the whole documentary, because he was like, he had like how many cameras? I was like thinking to myself at one point, how many cameras does this guy have? They keep destroying all of them, and he keeps pulling a new one out. That character to me was really funny with Kingo. Um, I did like the conversation, the comparison towards that Kingo makes towards Sprite being Tinkerbell, Icarus being Peter Pan, and Cersei being Wendy, and then the rest of them are the Lost Boys. I thought that was a great comparison, thinking about it. As someone who loves the mythology of Peter Pan, mostly because of Hook, I thought that was, yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like, I saw it as soon as he was naming Icarus as Peter Pan and Sprite as Tinkerbell, and how she couldn't have him because she was the way she looked. I thought, yeah, that was really that was a good comparison. Druig, I thought was interesting. I liked the relationship he had with Makari, but it was the way he left the team in a flashback. They show how Druig left. I guess he was the first member to decide to separate himself from the rest of the group because he loved humanity, that he didn't like the way humanity was going and how they were letting it go. Um, so to see Druig leave, and then when they reunite with him in the present day, he was the one that I thought was going to betray the team. He was the one that I thought, okay, this guy's most likely the one to be. If there's a betrayal in this movie, it's going to be this guy. And it actually doesn't turn out to be that case. The betrayer of the team that you see is Icarus, played by Richard Madden, who betrays the team. We see it be revealed in a flashback when he kills Ajak, Selma Hayek's character. So that was a Game of Thrones level twist that I did not see coming. Funny enough, you got the two, Stark boys. You got Jon Snow and Robb Stark in this movie. So it gave it that Game of Thrones style twist later on when you see Robb Stark killing one of the good guys, his fellow good guys, and see what his plan is, that he's loyal to the Celestials, who, by the way, the Celestials look amazing. I know I probably said that in my non-spoiler review, but I gotta say it again. How gigantic they look. There's one scene in particular that you see the Celestial come to Earth at the very end of the movie, and wow, to see it up in the atmosphere, in our atmosphere, that shot looked amazing. And then to see the other side of it where he's up in space staring down at Earth, it was like, wow. I love the scope of this movie. So yeah, Icarus, he dies because he flies into the sun once he realizes his mistake, that his faith is all broken and stuff. And just like the Greek mythology, he flies into the sun, right? So yeah, I thought Icarus's storyline with Cersei was all great. Speaking of Jon Snow, since I mentioned him, Dane Whitman, who Kit Harington plays, who eventually becomes the Black Knight in the comics. I did my research. He doesn't have much time, so I don't really have much thoughts on him, except for where he's going. And I guess I'll get into the last. Well, actually, let me get to the end credit scene a little later. First, let's talk about the first end credit scene, because now I think this is the important stuff, the really big stuff that people really want to talk about. It's always the end credits scene stuff. It makes me wonder: are we going for the movie, or are we really going for the end credit scenes? No, I really love this movie a lot, so I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I enjoy it. It's definitely one of my higher mark. I would have given it a 9. I don't really know why I would, because I don't really have much criticisms about it. I don't think too much about the criticisms. So obviously there is something there that made me realize, okay, I liked it a lot, but there's something that is stopping me from giving it a 9. I don't know what it is though. Sometimes I'm just like that. I don't think about the criticisms too much. I think more about the things that I liked. But obviously there's something there that didn't allow me to push it to a 9. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind, and when I see it again a couple more times, I'll give it a 9. But right now, 8.5, I feel pretty confident with that score. The first end credit scene, let's get into that, has some of the Eternals talking. Makari, Druig, I think, was there. Thena was there. I don't remember if anyone else was there, because some of the Eternals were taken away by the Celestial. Cersei was taken. I think Phastos was taken, and Kingo was taken. I think those were the 3 that were taken. And then we see these other characters still around, but something is coming, and Makari senses it. Because she's deaf, and by the way, I love that they got an actual person who was who did sign language, who was deaf, that actually did that, that has that skill set and that ability, because it really gave that an authentic touch to that performance. And I only found out recently that she was an actual person who did sign language and that couldn't talk. So I thought that was really cool that they actually hired somebody uh, like that too, because you don't see too many of those type of actors in movies. So yeah, I thought it was great. But yeah, they sense something coming into the room. It's like something's glowing, some sort of portal or teleportation device. And suddenly you see the CGI character, which a lot of people are saying is really bad CGI. But I didn't care, but because the rest of the movie had great CGI, so I didn't let that bother me. Just because probably it was a last minute addition. They didn't want the character to be revealed because, Marvel wants to hide some secrets. And if they have to add a little bit of CGI at the end for an end credit scene, I think we can give them that leeway. Voiced by Patton Oswalt. The character's name is Pip the Troll, who plays a very important part in the Marvel comics. Apparently, he's also friends with Adam Warlock, who we know is going to be joining Guardians of the Galaxy 3, played by Will Poulter. From the Narnia, he was in one of the Narnia movies. He was in the Maze Runner films. He was in We're the Millers with Jason Bateman and was it Jason Bateman and Jessica? No, not Jessica. Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, he's a great actor, so I can't wait to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But Patton Oswalt was there, so he might. Who knows? We might see Patton Oswalt's character Pip the Troll, because I can see that character fitting perfectly in Guardians 3. Especially if you got Patton Oswalt. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn requested for that character to be in to get Patton Oswalt as that character, because maybe he has plans for that character too. So we'll see. But that was great. So I can't wait to hear more Patton Oswalt. But then also another character joins, Star Fox, aka Eros, who is apparently the brother of Thanos. And I'm like, wait, what? Thanos has a brother? And apparently, yes, it's all part of the comics too. And who is he played by? I actually did not recognize him when I saw the movie. But yes, Harry Styles, One Direction, who's been starting up a career for himself. He was in Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk already, who I thought did a really good job. And I even thought, hey, if he continues this career, I wouldn't mind. He did a really good job in Dunkirk. And I know he was rumored to play Prince Eric in the Little Mermaid live action film. So to now see him in a Marvel movie, which I heard he passed on the Little Mermaid, because yeah, Marvel, that's obviously the better thing to probably go into. As much as I like the Disney live action remakes, I would pass for a Marvel movie also. So yeah, great career choice. I thought he was great in the little cameo that we got to see him in, and I can't wait to find out more about his character, because I need to know about this Thanos connection a lot more. I want to know the family dynamic. I want to know the parents that raised them. I know it's in the comics too. Thanos and Eros both had a father. So I need to understand this. And now there's like people saying, is Thanos an Eternal as well? Because in the comics, apparently he is an Eternal. So was he an Eternal that got loose, that realized the truth also and decided to try to take matters into his own hands? Was Thanos a good guy the entire time? And now when we look back on it, maybe he really was trying to save the universe, but in his own in a different way, right? In probably not the best scenario type of way. Maybe he should have hung out with these guys. So yeah, I thought that was great. So I'm looking forward to seeing more Harry Styles as Eros. And then we got the final end credit scene. Now we can bring back Kit Harington as Dane Whitman. Obviously, he has a sword. And in the beginning of the movie, they were kind of hinting that he has this heritage. His family heritage is through a bloodline goes back to the medieval days, because Cersei gives him a ring. that has something to do with Camelot, I believe. And so they set this stuff up in the beginning, but then we don't see him until the end of the movie when they start wrapping things up. So when this comes out, he opens up this case, and it has a sword in it. And the sword looks unusual because it did look like something was moving on the sword. And if you go and like Screen Crush did all these videos that I watched, and apparently there is a connection to the symbiotes with that sword. But the big thing that people are obviously talking about is the voice that shows that you hear at the very end and then goes right away. I was thinking like Nick Fury, but what does Nick Fury have to do with it? Is he recruiting a new team of Avengers? But then my brother mentioned the Watcher, and I was like, oh, maybe that did sound like Jeffrey Wright. So maybe it is the Watcher, but it actually has been confirmed that it was Mahershala Ali doing Blade, because we know Blade is coming. And apparently in the comics, the Black Knight and Blade do team up quite a bit. So could we see Jon Snow or Dane Whitman as the Black Knight in the Blade movie we know is coming? Mahershala Ali is all pumped up for it. Yeah, look, I can't wait. I think Mahershala Ali is a great actor. This just enforces even more, though, that the Netflix shows that Marvel and Netflix did are no longer canon. I think there's even less chances now that Charlie Cox will show up as Daredevil, which a lot of people I know want, because Mahershala Ali was in Luke Cage as the villain in that season. So, yeah, it kind of sucks that those shows. Well, did anybody really want Iron Fist? If you bring in Daredevil, you're gonna have to bring in all the Netflix shows. So most likely those characters are gonna be rebooted if they ever want to bring them back. So we'll see. But yes, Dane Whitman. It looks like he might be in the next Blade movie, and that's what that's indicating. Which is funny because there was a sword, and you can also call a sword a blade. So there you go. Yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really interesting, making us question the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we knew, that it's even crazier than we imagined. Like Guardians of the Galaxy pushed the door open in one direction. Then you got Doctor Strange showing us another side of the MCU. You gotta love some of the movie choices that they make, because each one adds something to the universe that we know as the MCU. So to see the Marvel Cinematic Universe bring in the Eternals and seeing how big in scope they are in all of this is like crazy. And it will be interesting where the Eternals is taking us, because there are a lot of possibilities now. Galactus is another possibility now, and we know the Fantastic Four are coming. I hope they skip the origins of the Fantastic Four, like how they did with the Incredible Hulk and the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. I hope they skip the origins, like just hint at it or show it quick in flashbacks like they did in the Incredible Hulk, and just go straight into an all-new story. And whether it's the Silver Surfer or not, it's going to be really cool getting to see what Marvel is going to do next in the next couple of years. So I'm looking forward to it. Tell me, guys, your thoughts. Are there any spoilery stuff that I should have mentioned, or do you think I covered my bases? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts on the movie. And I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're a new viewer. And until next time, take care.